So today I want to talk about 1 year on YouTube. This channel is now officially 1 year old, and I want to take some time to pause, reflect, and celebrate that. Because to be perfectly honest, this has gone in so many different directions than I had originally intended and planned, and it has been a wonderful experience to be able to make content, to talk about the news cycles, to go through everything, and just put my thoughts out there and have them so well received by so many people. It's something that I really didn't expect, and it honestly was something that I was fearful of going into making all of these videos and putting myself out there. The channel was something that originally was something that I was so hesitant about, and putting myself out there was something completely unfathomable to me. And yet, here we are, a year later, over 200 videos, over 50 live streams, and the channel has 1,300 subscribers. And that's something that I couldn't have even imagined a year later going into all of this. And so I do want to spend some time today talking about the experience of making content, of what went into setting up this channel, and a little bit of what's planned for the future. And I know this isn't the typical political stuff that I cover, but I wanted to do something that I don't often talk about on this channel, and that's talk about me for a little bit, for a day. So I hope you'll join me on that journey and continue to watch the rest of this video. That said, before I go into anything else, I need to thank everybody who has made this channel possible. Again, 1,300 subscribers. That's a number that's unfathomable to me, and the fact that that many people thought my content was worthwhile to hit that subscribe button on is something that I still can't process. And I mean that in the best way possible. It's a number that I couldn't have even possibly perceived when I first made the channel. But I also want to thank people who have even taken the time to like videos, to subscribe, to comment. All the comments have been lovely and appreciated. I always look forward to seeing the positive ones. Some of the negative ones, not so much, but they happen. It's YouTube. That's the way things work. But all of the positive comments have been wonderful. All the people who have donated to me, either through the single donation or Patreon links that I have in the descriptions, that has gone a long way to helping me and helping the channel. And all the people on the Discord that I've had long extended conversations with and have developed connections with. I am very grateful for all of you, because you all make this channel happen. And I say it pretty much every time on the Discord after Sunday streams, and I still mean it. You all make this channel happen. None of this could be what it is without you. That said, I want to share with you a little bit about the past of what went into making this channel. When I first thought of the idea of doing YouTube, I really wasn't sure about any of it. And I certainly wasn't even sure that I would go through with it. My original ideas had been to consider years and years and years before this channel to put out YouTube content in gaming, to maybe do Let's Plays or something of that sort. And none of it really panned out for me. I was intimidated by a lot of the right-wing presence that was on YouTube at the time. I thought putting myself out there as a woman would be something that would just get me a lot of negative comments, especially with the way Gamergate had gone and so much else had happened. And eventually we reached the point we were in 2020 during the pandemic, where I'd seen a number of leftist content creators pop up, and YouTube didn't seem like quite the scary space. And in a lot of ways, making content was something that I thought might be a cathartic and helpful thing for me, because I had not only been isolated by the pandemic, but I had had some personal stuff cause a lot of isolation in my life, and I had been quite alone and by myself. And I wanted to try to put myself out there and just make content on something I was familiar with, politics, and to bring in a historical framework for it, because that's where my field was and what I've studied and what I know. So that's really what went into the idea of making the channel. So then it was a matter of trying to figure out, well, how do I put out content? Like what goes into this process? And I ended up, for my first video, trying to do a video essay. And it's one that some people might look at and, I don't know, criticize now for a lot of different reasons. But there was a lot of work that went into that, and it was unexpectedly difficult. I didn't have a microphone, so I had to use my laptop's, built-in microphone. I didn't have a camera at the time, so there was no way of recording video, so I had to get a bunch of Creative Commons stuff and throw it all together with some audio that I made in like 1-minute bursts and patchwork it all together into a video. And I did it. And clicking that upload button the first time was absolutely terrifying. The idea that my content was going to be on the internet for everybody to look at, and oh my goodness, like some of that anxiety is kind of manifesting in this moment, because it's like the second you start thinking about it, it becomes so much more difficult to put yourself in that position of being judged by the entire world for the thing that you just put out there. And it's not even like a specific fear of, oh my goodness, my content might be criticized or it might be canceled or something like that. It was none of that for me. It was just the nervousness of just having my content watched by people. And honestly, it was kind of well received for a first video, and I was pleasantly surprised. But given how difficult that it was to do the video essay, I started thinking about what else I could do to maybe put out more content or put it out more often. And I realized that I couldn't do it again with the current setup that I had. So a friend of mine very graciously donated a microphone to me, and I was able to, at the very least, have that. But I started trying to figure out solutions to a camera, because cameras are expensive and I didn't have a webcam. And the webcam on my laptop is terribly positioned and is kind of terrible quality, to be perfectly honest. It's actually positioned under the screen, which has got to be one of the worst designs that I've ever seen in a laptop in terms of the integrated webcam. But I basically made it work in the fact that I was able to find a way to use an old cell phone that someone had given me and convert it into a webcam using some software that I got. And it was a $5 solution. And then I had to figure out, well, how do I position it? How do I set it up in the space that I'm in to make it work? And I set up the pirate flag at some point. I don't even know if that was originally in my first videos. But the way that I ended up setting things up is I piled a bunch of books behind my laptop. And I took this box. And what's on this is actually, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications, and the whole thing that I do at the end of videos now. I taped it onto the box because while I was staring into the light of this webcam that I set up in this box with something behind it to hold it up in place, this framework that I created to get a webcam to actually record me, this whole setup that I did was something that I just patchworked, and it was terrifying looking into that light on the camera every single time, and I'd forget. And honestly, doing these end credit things is gotta be one of the most disingenuous feelings that I've ever put myself through in terms of something that was made for me. I tend to look at the content as being made, yes, for the people I put it out for, but also for myself. And I've done disingenuous things for employment. I've done disingenuous things to survive, daily life and all that. But for something that was for me, putting my content out there was great. But recording this, I couldn't wrap my head around it. So I just put it up there and I just read off the cue card, as it were, every single time. And again, I was using this little box to hold the camera and to make that all work. Now, because of Patreon, because of the donations I've gotten, because of the care that you all have put into this channel as well, I have an actual camera and it records in HD and I don't have to do anything else. It's on a tripod and it actually functions. And it's such a long way from where I was a year ago. And it's just something that I'm so incredibly grateful for, that my content was received well enough to get that kind of support. So that's what went into creating the channel. And when I first started making videos, I started trying to imitate certain other styles. The original videos that I had put out, the first one rather, was kind of based around something that like Renegade Cut would put out, and trying to, do that type of video essay with the different backgrounds. And as I started putting my face on there, I started doing more of a reaction style and mimicking some of the YouTubers that did reactions, or the streamers at the very least that had done reactions, and try to put that into a video format. And then I kind of settled on that because honestly, what I really envisioned for this channel and what I kind of ended up turning it into was something where I could look at a camera and I could talk to someone and make it seem like I'm having a conversation with you. And to me, that was really important because I didn't want it to be about me specifically, but I wanted it to be about me having a conversation and sharing information with somebody that is on the other end of the camera, like they're there. So it, to me, was, hey, so today I want to talk about this with you, and I want to share this bit of information that I researched and that I explored, and I want you to go through my process with me, and I want you to hear my perspectives on this news article that I read, or this video that I'm reacting to, or whatever is going out there. I wanted to make it a conversation and an experience in that regard. I didn't want it to be to continue into the video essay format. I didn't want it to be something else where it felt like I was just like going through the motions, or that I was going through this whole theatrical production. That doesn't work for me. I know it works for others, and I'm more than happy for people that it works for. But to me, I want to make this a personal experience where I'm sharing what's on my mind in the day. I'm talking about my experiences. I'm talking about how I'm interacting with the media. I'm talking about the things that I'm seeing. And I'm talking about it from a leftist and historical perspective because that's what I know. And so eventually that's what it really became. And so every video kind of developed the same format. So today I want to talk about this, and then I'd go through the topics. And over time, it became more and more difficult to do it all on the fly. But everything has always been done in one take, with very, very rare exceptions when I've had issues with like neighbors making noise or anything of that sort. I've tried to basically make it so that it has the least amount of cuts possible, and that it is in fact a genuine experience where you're seeing me converse with the camera, and hopefully with you on the other end in that regard. So that's been the video process, and it really hasn't changed. Now for streams, I'm genuinely grateful for how these Sunday streams have gone. I didn't imagine that I'd create the little world that I've created with Staxel. Staxel ended up being the perfect first game. In a lot of ways, it was something that I had thought about exploring. I knew games like Minecraft were really popular, but I'd gotten Staxel in a humble monthly, and I was like, I'm probably never going to play this by myself, but if I do it on stream, I'll probably build things and actually be able to talk to people and build things that people request and be able to create stories in this little town. And boy, did we. We got base cut from that. We got all of the different jokes and in-jokes about Oscar and all the stuff on the Discord that we talk about. It ended up developing into a communal space and turned into what is now the Chill Sunday streams, what was originally the Chill Staxel streams. And the Chill Sunday streams have kind of worked on that mythos, and I enjoy going back to Staxel after every game to kind of revisit it, build these portals, and kind of expand it into a world that is this Sunday creation. And wearing the elf ears has become a part of that, and I don't know, just it's all become something more than what I could have imagined on my own. The community, it contributed ideas, and it's something that I am just grateful to see flourish, and I'm glad so many people enjoy it being a chill experience. And like I've said before, when it comes to the Sunday streams, I like to keep the games chill, so they're not this action-packed thing. I want it to be something that you can listen in the background and pop in and talk about and explore with me. And I like it being indie games because I like supporting small creators. And it's the same type of thing with my videos where I like to talk about the small stories that aren't really being talked about, or bring up the major stories in a way that talks about the little components of it that's being ignored. to me, that is part of the experience of what I want to do with this channel. And I guess if there's anything that is the embodiment of Anarchistara and the community, it's paying attention to the small details. It's paying attention to the needs of community. It's building community. It's exploring what is being missed and trying to patch those things up and talk about them. And so that's where I've been with all of that. And the last things that I'd want to talk about are the Discord and plans for the future. So the Discord has been something that, I'm going to be completely honest, has been game-changing. When I talked about the fact that I originally entered into all of this from a very isolated perspective, not only has making the content been something that has been less isolating because I could put my perspectives and opinions about everything out there and interact with people about it, but people actively came to the Discord and continued conversations with me. I've seen people interact with each other to an extent, and we've created a lot of community events. Anarchy Plays was born out of that, where every Thursday we're getting together, we're playing a video game together, and then I post the results on YouTube. And I'm interacting with the Discord community. It's a private in-house setting. There's been other private streams that I do on there where I'm just playing a game, talking to people, or other people decide to stream their own content and games, and we're all just able to chill and talk about it. But it also gets to the root of leftist issues where we're talking about politics, dual power, how to build new systems. There's extensive conversations about worker co-ops. All the things that I talk about in my videos get expanded on in the Discord. And it makes me feel a lot less like I'm talking to a camera because I see people interact with it in real time. And it makes it a lot more real to me, I guess, on some level. Not that the comments or anything like that in the videos aren't real or anything like that. And not that I don't appreciate them. It's just that I'm able to have this real-time exchange with people and to be able to share these events and share things that are both political and outside of the political with people and enjoy. And it's been quite a wonderful community that's formed, and I never could have predicted again that that would manifest in the way that it did. Now, as for future plans for the channel, my long-term, I have some kind of midterm and I guess long-term goals. Now that I've gotten the camera and things have improved on that end, I do want to get a few more things for the camera, possibly expanding how I am able to use it. I want to possibly improve my lighting, though I'm kind of content with it at the moment, and I might want to get a better microphone in time. I also want to pursue getting an actual dedicated desktop so that I can actually run things and have a complete setup for myself. And these are all things that are going to take time to get, and they're going to be costly, and things that I am going to try to pursue in the midterm time as the Patreon money ends up being put in that direction. From there, the long-term projects, I just want to keep seeing this channel grow. I have for a long time wanted to put out some sort of audiobook for this channel, and even if it's a chapter a week on the Mondays that I don't upload, and just putting out one chapter a week kind of thing, where people could listen to theory. And I know audiobooks tend to be better for a lot of people. It tends to help people get into it, and make it a conversation in the comments about what's going on in the section and how to effectively make it a sort of book club in that regard. So I would read the chapter and upload it on Mondays. And I don't know if that vision will pan out to that, but even if I just end up making audiobooks of theory, that would be something worthwhile. And it's something I've planned on for a while, but I wanted to get the right settings on my microphone and make that happen. And then time got in the way and it just didn't end up manifesting. But that's something to look out for, and hopefully that does end up coming to fruition. I want to continue everything else that's been happening in terms of content. 4 videos a week. The fact that I was doing 7 videos a week at one point, I don't know how I was putting that out. And I've gotten other content creators look at me and be like, I put out 1 video a week, how are you putting out 7? And I started realizing, oh my goodness, I'm burning myself out with this. And that's why we dropped down to 4. And 4 has been a lot still, actually, now that I think about it. And I still am happy with 4. Some weeks I haven't been able to put that out, especially if I put a longer video out. But please continue to look forward to that. And Sunday streams are not going anywhere, and Anarchy Plays will continue to be done on Tuesdays. But the long-term goals that I have for this channel, if this ever does grow and it does expand and things go beyond where they are, if 1,300 turns into 13,000 and that turns into more, maybe it will, maybe it won't. But if it ever does, I would very much love to get to the point where I could turn this into something that is long-term and permanent, that would be able to sustain myself. And then I'd like to turn that into investing into certain left-wing projects. I have some ideas for creating some sort of kitchen or community-based kitchen program, or even just being able to make food in bulk myself, because I do have a deep passion for cooking, and be able to find people that I can give it to distribute. And those are the type of ideas that I have on the table for the distant future for the channel. So with all of that, that has been 1 year. Again, I'm grateful, and I hope you see how this has manifested in something that I really didn't expect and I couldn't have even predicted. Again, it started off with these humble beginnings where, I was holding up a box and putting in stacked on books, trying to make my first videos, and honestly being unsure if any of this would even happen, if any of this would even manifest. And a year later, this is where we are. And I'm grateful to everyone again. I'm grateful to you all for appreciating the work that I put out. And I hope I can continue to keep putting good content out there. And just genuinely taking the time to celebrate life at the same time while making all of these things that talk about the issues that we're experiencing in our day-to-day lives, in the news cycles, and how we interact with them, again, from a leftist perspective. So I don't know, at this point it feels so disingenuous to do the outro at this point, because I feel like I've just been open with you all for this extent of time. But, if you can like, comment, and subscribe and do the whole algorithm thing, I would appreciate it. The unfortunate reality is that's the system of YouTube, and I'm grateful for it, and I'm grateful for you putting up with that ending thing and for asking for donations and all the stuff that I do. It feels so wrong. But, again, it's appreciated. With that said, thank you so much for joining me for this 1 year celebration, and for just being here and for celebrating this all with me. Thank you again, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.